Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all you aspiring traders around the world. I'm Simon Massey from fundedtradingplus.com. Apologies for being slightly late today. Unfortunately, Peter can't make the trading battle, but we have a fantastic substitute with Michael Cogshill here, who is going to be battling Bruce to see who can make the most money for charity. Both of these gentlemen have played professional rugby formerly, and both of them have promised to take lots of trades today. So the markets are moving very nicely. So we're going to get stuck into some wonderful opportunities, hopefully. Bruce, please introduce yourself for our audience.
Sure. So I'm James Bruce. I'm from Ballito, South Africa, and I've been trading for both ways. But I'm from Ballito, South Africa, and I've been trading for 5 years now.
Fantastic. I'll call you by your correct name next time if you're a lucky boy. Cogshil, introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Michael. And I have been a trading partner alongside Simon for many years, running our live trade room at Trade Room Plus, and now a director of our funded trading product, Funded Trading Plus. Trade every day, have done so since 2008.
Fantastic. Thank you. Some early comments here. Morning from Rez. Hi to Kaizen Trader. Marty, Simon is handsome. Is he married? He is not. So I'm still available, Marty, if you are in the market. So that is fantastic. Right. The markets are moving very nicely at the moment. We've obviously got significant geopolitical issues. We've got inflation. We've had the Fed meeting. We've got the NFP today coming at 13:30 GMT as well. So that could upset things. We, of course, have the unfortunate Russian-Ukraine war that's driving a lot of sort of macroeconomic moves as well. So we're going to ask our two contestants our first challenge. First, I'm going to go to James. Got it right this time. I'm going to say, James, what are you looking at right now? And do you see any opportunities to take a trade?
Yeah, so obviously, Simon, today's NFP, so non-farm payrolls for the people watching in the forex market. So that's, obviously with the USD come out with the non-farm payrolls. So I don't normally trade on Fridays. I like to take the day off. But I am liking the pound dollar to the downside, as well as the indices, which obviously isn't really influenced as much by NFP. But so I am liking the pound dollar to the downside with my setups. What I like is I use a TDI indicator, so it's showing me that there's strong bearish momentum, as the TDI has been in the sell zone for majority of the day, even from yesterday. As well as I said, the NASDAQ just moving down quite a lot as well. So this also looks good for shorts. I also use the EMAs, exponential moving averages. So they're all telling me to be predominantly short bias. So those are two pairs assets that I'm looking to trade.
Okay, so when the price action's below those exponential moving averages, that's generally the sort of direction you'll trade. What EMAs are they for our audience?
Correct. So so I've got the dark blue one here is the 800 exponential moving average, and then I have the white one, which is the 200 exponential moving average. Then I got the 50, which is this light blue, and then I got the 21 and the 8 EMA which is red and yellow respectively. So I use the EMAs in conjunction with the TDI indicator. This is my market sentiment line here, this yellow line here on the bottom of my screen, to tell me which direction that I'm looking to trade in for that specific day. As I'm a day trader, I'm not really looking to swing trades. I'm more specifically actually a scalper, looking to ride those intraday moves.
So how long would you typically hold a trade for then?
Sure. So last month in my statistics, my average holding time was around 34 minutes. So I'm not really looking to take to hold trades like, for multiple days, but I found that it works for me. So that's what I love to do. Get in and out of the market. I'm right or I'm wrong pretty early. And sometimes you can catch some nice moves because if it with a tight stop, it can move, 4 or 5 hours pretty quickly.
Oh, excellent. Is there anything you want to place now, or do you want me to jump to Michael and then you prime up a trade while I'm doing that?
Yeah, so can I place a trade right now?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, whenever you want in the battle, you gentlemen can place trades as you see opportunities.
Perfect. So I'm going to place a trade on the NASDAQ to the downside.
Okay, the NASDAQ got hammered yesterday, didn't it, if I'm right in thinking? Oh, yeah, I can see there. Yeah, I've not looked at the market since yesterday. Yeah, it got hammered, didn't it? A lot of people don't want to get long on that. So you think we're going to see continued weakness in the US tech?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. So I'll place my trade now.
So we get short about 12, 8, 1, 1, spot 7 on the NASDAQ.
Yep. Okay, so my entry price.
No problem. That's
Yep.
no problem. If you've got that play, while you're placing that and sorting that, I'll move over to Michael and see if there's anything in the market that's jumping you. Your first challenge. What are you looking at right now, please, Michael?
Right. Well, we've had a lot of really pretty big moves in the last few days. We've had the pound falling a large amount. We had the Bank of England's announcements yesterday about 10% inflation and putting rates up, etc. And so I think the pound is a product that is worth looking at, pound dollar. So I don't disagree with James in that at all. And I am looking at that myself. I suspect we might get a bit of a bounce in the short term. So I am a little bit cautious about going short right now. I think I might be preferred to go short after NFP rather than before. When we look at it on a weekly, it could go a reasonable bit lower. Despite the fact it's come down a lot, it could still go lower. So I was going to be jumping on that, but now James has taken that. I'll move to one of the other products I've been looking at. Let's go with the, NFP is going to move things today. So I'm going to go for a move. We know Nasdaq's been falling. We know that everything's been falling. And we know that I think I'm going to go long on the SPX on the basis that there may be a pop that I might be able to take some profit out of during NFP a little bit later. So I'm going to go long on Nasdaq
S&P.
now. S&P, I mean, sorry. I'm going to go long now and just execute that in, if it allows me. Going in too big, aren't I?
Yeah, slightly. 5 lots. That's a bold move for NFP today.
Yeah.
I'll let you get that. Let you get that sorted in the background. So it's interesting today. We have. Yeah, I'll let you get that trade sorted in the background. So Michael's going to take a long on the S&P, and James is going to be taking a short on the Nasdaq. So it's quite interesting. There's sort of like almost opposite positions to a degree. The Nasdaq can move a little bit separately from the S&P, and particularly the Dow Jones, the 3 US markets that most traders do trade. In the short term, but in the long term, they generally correlate together. But the Nasdaq is especially interesting at the moment because throughout the pandemic, that was just such an awesomely strong market as well. And now we're starting to see a bit of a rollover. Might be able to have a look at a daily time frame shortly just to sort of emphasize that point. But yeah, the Nasdaq, a very heavily traded market. We've got a question here, James. I'm not sure if it's a pair that you have a look at. It's the yen. So the question is, what's your thought on the yen? Because it's been absolutely punished lately.
Yep. So I do trade the yen. I love trading GJ. That's one of my favorite pairs to trade. So GJ has been on a pretty big bull run lately, which is kind of weird because I know that during uncertain times, the yen is kind of seen as like a safe haven. And GJ has been on quite a big bull run. If we look at the daily EMA, I actually was looking at it today. It's actually at the daily 50 EMA. So if you have a look here on my charts on GJ, it's actually at the daily 50 EMA, as you can see right here, which is this light blue exponential moving average over there. But if you even look on the weekly chart, it has been moving up in the last couple of weeks as well. So yep, it's pretty weird because normally we have seen during times of uncertainty that the yen has been a safe haven. It's pretty weird, but I guess that's why you can't trade based off feelings. You've got to trade based off what the charts are telling you.
Excellent. So what would your sort of view be on this pound yen then? If you had, I'm not saying you take a trade, but I'm saying if you had gun to your head to take a trade, which way would you go, do you think?
Well, intraday, it is short bias. As you can see, it is moving up through the 50. So I'm on the 15-minute chart here. That's the chart time frame that I use to look when I'm looking for my intraday scalps. It is predominantly short bias, as you can see, but in conjunction with that, as I said, the daily time frame is very much long bias, which there is kind of like a bit of it's not working out. So, it's not agreeing with each other. The high time frames are predominantly long bias, but intraday short.
So do you like your longer term time frames to line up with your short term? So if the daily's in an uptrend, you want the 15 to be showing an uptrend. Is that your sort of thing, or?
Correct. Yep, 100%. So I do like favoring the 50-minute time frame, as that I'm looking for intraday moves. As I said, I'm not looking to hold for multiple days, but it does add confluence when I do get the hard time frames in agreement with the intraday 50-minute chart.
Yeah, absolutely. So what James is talking about here is talking about moving from different time frames. Maybe it's the daily, the 4 hour, something like that. He likes to see them all in the same sort of direction, as a lot of successful traders do, to have an edge. They'll sort of, even if you are an intraday scalper, you will come down onto lower. You will come on to look at higher time frames. That makes sense. Michael, what's your view on the yen at the moment? Doesn't matter which pair you anchor it to.
Yes, the yen. Well, it is, of course, one of the. I'm going to look at it against the pound, actually. So it's a pound yen. Pulling that up on my chart now. Pound yen. And we'll put it to, you see, the change in the pound's been quite dramatic over the last few days. And looking at the daily, we can see it sort of got itself into the range where it had come up, hit some highs, come back down. We're back in that trading range. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it bouncing between this sort of level there, 164.021, and here 159.67. That sort of area. I think it's likely to bounce around that. For the moment, it may well have had. We've got a higher low here, and I think that I may well long on this right now, and on the basis of that higher low, it's confirmed it doesn't want to go lower on the daily. So I'm going to go down into hourly and just see whether or not that still confirms through. And I think that I can put in a trade that would be a long here, 161.1760, something like that, with a stop down at 160. So I'm going to go long in that space there right now.
Yeah, I can see. I mean, on a daily, it looks like a bit of a wonky head and shoulders, doesn't it? I think there's a level that jumps out at me, not to overstep my mark as the host, but a little bit lower is a level that jumps out at me. If you switch to the daily quickly, there's a level that I think is interesting me as well.
Yes, I'd prefer a longer term.
Yeah, you know which one. You know which one I'm thinking of. Just we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, I'll be looking right there for the next place to get in this sort of zone here, basically.
Yeah.
You know, possibly let it get right to there and then take the plug straight back up again there. I'd be interested in it at this first one here, and then really comfortable in going long right there at 157.581. Yes, that's if it doesn't. If it goes down there, so it's got to get down there first, basically.
Thank you very much. Well, excellent. Thank you for that, gents. Like I said, if there are any ideas or anything else you're seeing in the background, if you're spotting while the other guest is talking, do let us know. We can always put more trades on. Now, it's interesting because one thing that connects our two guests today is they both played professional rugby, albeit in slightly different eras. So in order to make that relevant to trading, James, do you think any sort of aspect of playing professional sports sort of helps you with your trading sort of discipline or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. So I definitely think in the competitiveness. So obviously to be able to play at a high level of sports, the competitiveness is there. And I think that echoes into my trading. You got to, although in trading, you're competing against yourself. You got to always be better than you were the day before. I find that really helps me in my trading, always wanting to be better. And then as well as the decision making. So as I said, I'm an intraday scalper. I think the cool part about that is that it helps my decision making when I was on the rugby field, helps me make those quick decisions when on at the trading desk.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to the team you played for. Who was it?
I played for the Sharks here in Durban, South Africa.
Awesome.
As well. Yep.
Number 9. Michael, you played professional rugby. I know which team you played for, but I'm going to let you say. Do you think it brings anything into your trading?
Yeah, well, I was slightly ahead of the pro game and took an injury that stopped me becoming the pro So my colleagues all got contracts, but I didn't. So I can't say actually pro, but I was there. Yes. The interesting thing about all high-level sport is you learn that you need to work on your weaknesses. You need to identify your weaknesses, and you need to work on your weaknesses. And most of all, you need to identify what your strengths are and work on your strengths to make them even stronger. So if you're the best tennis server in the world, you don't stop working on your tennis serve just because your backhand's a bit weak. You work on your backhand and you improve that, and you work it and you work it and you work it. But at the same time, you work harder on your strength. So you become unbeatable on your strength, and you become stronger on your weaknesses. And then you re-identify on a regular basis. So you will plan to re-identify what you're weak at and what you're strong at in different time frames and different ways over a period of time. And in that way you improve. And that is exactly the same when you're going about doing trading and learning trading. Work out what you're good at. Don't worry about everybody else. Work out what you're good at and do that better, and keep getting better at that. Find out what you're weak at and improve that, and keep working at that. And there'll be 30 different processes in trading you'll need to write down and say what they are. And then you pick out what you're best at, the top ones, and what you're weak at, and work at those. And you take those steps, you will become a much better trader, a much better sportsman, a much better person, a much better husband, much better wife, a much better this, a much better everything. It's how to get on with doing things well. It's a standard approach, but it really gets rammed into you in professional sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's both a very valuable input, and it is almost like those incremental games, isn't it? Rugby in South Africa is almost as good as it is here in Australia, but obviously better than in the UK. So,
well, I disagree with that. We're the current World Cup champions, so.
Yeah, you are. I mean, I think the hierarchy is South Africa because you fizzed us in the World Cup, and then just this from 2003. Any Australians? Do you remember that one? I'm never getting invited on again, am I? Our proudest moment. We're not great at the sport, but when we are, anyway, we're digressing here. I think it's probably time to have a look at the second challenge, gentlemen. Anyway, so the second challenge is. Pick an asset you've always wanted to trade and place the trade now. Which one of you is more ready, do you think, to have a look at that? No rush at the moment. Are you happy with that one, James?
Yeah, I can go for it. So
pick an asset you've always wanted to trade and place it now.
Perfect. I'm going to short the Dow Jones. As I said, I'm just very, very short bias on the indices. The stock market's been taking a pretty big hit, as I said, as you can see on the Dow Jones, all the three major indexes, the Dow Jones, the Nasdaq, and the S&P 500, they rallied after the FOMC news yesterday. But after that, it doesn't look like the markets didn't really like the FOMC news, because they just shoved right back down and actually ending lower than it was yesterday. So I'm going to short the Dow Jones, as I said. If you look at my technicals as well. The EMAs are coming into alignment. I got the 800 at the top, then the 200 EMA, which is what I want when I'm going short. I want the 800 on the top, and then the 200, and vice versa if I'm going long. And my TDI indicator here is telling me that intraday is also good for short. So I'm going to short the Dow Jones.
Okay, short on the Dow. Fantastic. I mean, it's interesting. You now short Dow and Nasdaq. Sometimes they can sort of decouple on the short-term time frame. You often see Nasdaq may go down, Dow may go up as this sort of sector rotation. But then if you've got the sentiment as strong as it is, they're all going to go down together. Interesting, because Michael's long on the S&P as well. So you've sort of taken opposite positions there. You're short Dow, Michael's long S&P. So it'd be interesting after NFP to see who's in the better position after that. So yeah, one of you is going to come out happy, I think, with that. Michael, please, challenge 2. Pick an asset you've always wanted to trade and place it now.
Yeah, I'm going to balance out my earlier trade later on, and give you the good reasons why and what I'll be doing how I'll be doing that. Right now, when I was asked to look for an asset to trade, I started thinking, well, let's look at some of the stocks that 8cap have got available, because they do have a really good range of stocks, and often they're not available on a lot of CFD broker platforms. So they are available here. And so I thought, well, what's the stock that's been most talked about recently? We've had lots of talk over Twitter, lots of talk over Tesla. And Tesla has fallen mainly because of the scare that Elon's going to have to take more money out of Tesla to pay for Twitter. And we've had the big drop yesterday on NASDAQ. It was partly driven by what went on Tesla here. And I'm going to go for a bounce today and go long on Tesla.
So
And say,
you're looking for bounce.
I'm into electric. I'm all green. Look at me. You know, I would never do anything else, but you know, I'm helping the planet, and all those things. Hey, Tesla. Yeah, I would never short. Well, I have shorted Tesla. I know there are people out there going to go, oh, how can you do that? No, you can.
You'll get Elon tweeting about you if you short Tesla, just like he did Bill Gates.
Yep, that's true.
So I'm long Tesla.
Well, it's interesting because that's almost like an opposite position to James. Obviously, shorting the Nasdaq, you're going long Tesla. They obviously correlate quite heavily as well. James, does Elon Musk make you quite patriotic and proud?
Of course, he's another South African. We're controlling the markets at the moment. Yeah, very, very cool to see what he's done, and you know, obviously moving to, and he's like innovative. He's so innovative, and he's as Michael was saying, like he brought in Tesla, and you know, everyone thought it wasn't going to work out, and now look at him. He basically controls the markets, crypto as well.
Yeah, he is an incredible once in a generation person, albeit you know, geniuses are often flawed, aren't they? We've got what's the position you're looking at as well?
So on my end.
Yeah, so you're just looking at Dow as well. Anyway, so
yeah, I was looking at Dow.
Looking at Dow. Yeah. I briefly forgot you'd already put a trade on there. My attention span's about 5 seconds. So I've got your name wrong. I forgot you put a trade on. I'm never getting invited back again, let's be honest. It's this subconscious jealous of your superior rugby nation, I think.
Must be.
I'm going to come to you, though, with a question, James, and ask you 2 questions. I'm going to ask you, what was your sort of best trade you've ever taken? Or you could also substitute with best trading lesson, and then the opposite, the worst trading lesson as well.
Sure. So best trade I've ever taken. Well, let me start with the bad one. The worst trade I've ever taken. I think I did mention it on the last time I was on the show when Boris was the host. I was trying to short the pound dollar, and I ended up losing what was about $20,000 on the one trade. So that was my worst trade I had. Incorrect lot size, everything like that. Came back to the charts later on and saw that flip, and that wasn't when I was scalping. I was like trading intraday, swinging, and they came back and had lost $20,000. So that wasn't a great trade. My best trade though, I did have on GJ. It was pound yen. I know we were speaking about that earlier on. That was to the downside, and I think that was during COVID, where everything was moving really, really erratically. And that was in 2020, near the end of 2020, and that was also about 20. I made about $20,000 on that trade as well. So that was my best trade and my worst trade.
Excellent. Same questions to you, Michael. Sort of best trade, worst trade, best lesson, worst lesson, if you like, from trading.
I think that's a difficult one. I've never had any really, really bad losses. I've always been good at going, right, cut it. You know, I'm quite a good decision maker, and I've always been able to accept loss. So that is one of my big trading strengths. I think that all traders need to learn to accept loss and not hide from it. So I've never really lost on a trade, and that happens to so many traders. And it's just you just don't want that to be happening. So I have had series of losses and periods where my trading hasn't been great, but it's never really overstacked the trading accounts that I've had. So I've been fortunate in that way. I mean, I think that the best trade that I ever took will be the first trade I ever took. I think it was back in gold when I first started looking at trading and thought I knew everything. And I didn't think I knew everything. I knew I knew nothing, except that I had to press the button, and that was all I thought I needed to do. And it did make me money. And that then hooked me on to this. And now I have a whole career out of it. So that's my best trading decision. Because if I hadn't clicked that button and made money out of it, I wouldn't have had this trading career that I've had. And I'm very grateful for that. Actually, the first trade for a lot of traders is nearly always a winner. That coin toss comes up heads.
Yeah. It's that interesting from a psychological point of view, isn't it? You don't have that fear when you're taking your first trade. You almost trade like you're trading a sim account when you've not got that fear. Because a lot of people can make money on a demo a sim account because they're trading, they don't care the ideal trading state, and then you switch on to real money and it makes a big difference. But yeah, that first trade can often be big, and you think, oh, this is really easy, and then the market gives you certainly some reality checks in that respect, doesn't it? I remember meeting you all the way back in 2011. It's been a long time now, hasn't it?
It has.
Yeah, absolutely. James, what sort of tips would you give to people who are looking to make a living from trading and retain that consistency that's essential to continue making a living?
Sure, I would say, in my opinion, that's why I love being on shows like this and getting invited. I learned so much from Michael talking about him, because he's like a lot older than me, but I love that because I can learn
only a bit, only a little bit.
But I love it because I can learn so much from. I love learning every single day. So my tips in my short career compared to Michael's is that I would just say have no expectations, because just go in every single day just trying to be better. As soon as you try and I need to make X amount of dollars this month and so forth, you start to chase things, you start to do unnecessary things, take unnecessary risks, and also it leads to disappointment, because then when you don't get that at the end of each month, you're going to feel disappointed, but you actually could have still done well that month. So I think having no expectations, and then just be like a sponge, just always be learning and willing and humble enough to learn from each and every single person that you come across in your life, because everybody's got some sort of positivity and experience to share with you.
Yeah, I think you raise a good point there. You're essentially saying it's more process focused rather than outcome focused. Don't think about targets and outcomes. You've got to follow the process that leads to those as well. And it's very, very difficult as a trader to do that, because you've always got the money dangling as well. Robin says first one was indeed profitable. Wish I could say why my first was profitable, says Julian. Yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? It's all just about, one trade in a sequence of different trades. How about you, Michael? Same advice?
Yes, I mean, the word that James just mentioned there was need. And as we well know, Simon, that every time we've ever been contacted by a trader wanting help, if they use the word need, I need this, I need that, we know that they're going to be psychologically challenged by that. So deal with your needs, your personal needs, your financial needs separately, and learn trading in a different mode. And then you can start to build it, and then let it help you out in the rest of your life. Don't trade because you need to. Trade because you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. Did I hear an MT4 sound then? What was that? Was that you, James?
I'm closing some of my trade. I'm closed some of my position on.
All right, show us on. Let's see your charts and see what you're doing. I just heard the MT4 sound. I was like, someone's sneaking in the background here.
Cool.
Yeah,
so
well,
I might have
losing,
overpositioned on it. So I'm closing out, going to close out some profits on the trade because it is working out nice. But also with the NFP coming out, I don't know if this could spark pretty quickly, as I could show you. This could easily spark to the upside and then take me out before moving lower. So I close some, as I might have been overpositioned on it as well. But it is for charity, so I'm going to bag some profits right now. As I said, I'm a scalper, so I don't do well with holding my trades long.
Oh, excellent. Which one have you banked profit on?
It was the Dow Jones, if I am correct.
The Dow, the Dow's in a really nice position.
I got it right at the top there, actually. It was quite a nice entry point.
Yeah, we're seeing some continued falls. Like I said, I think that's a very valuable lesson, isn't it? When there's money on the table, you want to take a little bit off. Scaling out is what most professional traders do. So yeah, good work. Hopefully, bank some good money for your charity there. I know what the pressure's like being a guest. When you see some money, you don't want to lose it for charity. It's a whole different sort of psychology, isn't it? First trade is so little money, but you think you're a trading god from the res. And Marty says, I had a winner on AUD USD. Well done, Martin. Hope that was your first ever trade, was it? So I can't remember what mine was, but unlike Michael, I've lost loads of money making terrible mistakes in trading. So I had to learn the hard way, unfortunately. I got to that point where it was either give up or carry on. Right. An asset class that people are really, really fascinated by and sort of has probably engaged traders across the world like no other currently at the moment. And you mentioned it earlier with Elon Musk. Cryptocurrencies. What's your thoughts on crypto, James? Do you actually trade them or what's your general thoughts on them?
So I actually have been getting in. So when I first got into trading 5 years ago, I was mostly trading forex pairs, right? But lately, just being open-minded and, with all the things that are going on in the world, with the stock market moving quite nicely, indexes are pretty volatile, and being a scalper intraday trader, you like to capitalize on those intraday moves. And forex, some pairs, like for example AUD USD, is a very, very slow moving pair. If I can just show you on my charts, if I have a look here on my charts here, right, I use something also called ADR, which is average daily range. So that's what a pair moves on an average day. So if I have a look at GU right now on an average day, if you can see that number there, it's moving 176 pips, right, on an average day. Compared to AUD USD, if I show you here, it's moving 128. Wow, that's a lot more than normally what AUD USD normally moves. It normally moves around 50 pips on an average day. So with cryptocurrency, I have been getting more into trading Bitcoin just because of the fact that the volatility is there, and I like to take advantage of those intraday good volume volatility moves.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, is there anything you're interested on Bitcoin now? Or is there any positions on the moment? Yeah, I'll go to Michael
Sure.
while you have a look at that, and we'll pop back to you, see if you see anything on that. Michael, what are your thoughts on cryptocurrencies then?
I think that sometime in the future there'll be further regulation on crypto. There'll be more attempts to clamp down on it in various ways by governments, because governments will be losing out. They're losing out now, and as the market gets bigger, there will be clamp downs on it. But that doesn't mean there won't be massive growth between now and then. So I am concerned for its long-term future. Whether a lot of people will disagree with me with that view, but I can't see worldwide governments giving up control over currency. I just don't think it will ever happen. I look now at Bitcoin and I see it back down at levels that it half where it was a few months ago, and it's sort of like, well, is it if it falls through where it is now, then it's gonna drop quite a bit lower. I would have thought quite possibly quite quickly. I mean, when a market comes down and hits the same levels a few times, it's like banging on a door, and eventually that door breaks and off it goes. It's sort of like, to me, this is walking the plank until it's going to dive off at some point. So I see there being a little bit of a danger there. I'll be much more comfortable to see Bitcoin up out of this range and trading up in the 40s again. If it does that, then it'll be fine. But if it breaks this range,
I just wonder. Sorry, go on, James.
Simon, I'm actually going to be spontaneous. I'm going to take a short position on Bitcoin as we speak.
Okay.
So
you're looking at that going, yeah, that's pretty low in there, isn't it? Yeah.
So you having a look. We just switched to James's chart. We can have a look at him taking that short on Bitcoin.
Let me just place my trade. So I'll sell one lot of Bitcoin to the downside. See,
in just slight contrast to you, gentlemen, I'll let you place that trade. In slight contrast to you, gentlemen, I wonder if there's going to be a short squeeze, and there's going to be, once it dips below that level, people are going to be incentivized to trap everyone on there. I could well be wrong. I'm not trading today, but yeah. A few more comments. I'm loving the bald representation on this show. Presumably you're not talking about me. Might make me a better trader. Go, James, sell the lot, sell the coins with a broken lettered key on that one. So, yeah, the people agreeing with your short positions on crypto. Yeah, I mean, crypto is very interesting, particularly as it now has, Bitcoin has a proper futures market. I'm not sure which exchange it's on, but yeah, it certainly generates hype and interest, and Bitcoin is the one that everyone generally looks at, and it is looking pretty precarious. So, yeah, well, it'll be interesting to see what happens, see if NFP sort of affects it as well in that respect. How are we doing for time? Well, we've got plenty of time at the moment, so that's quite good. Are you seeing any other opportunities, Michael, or are you just happy with your positions right now?
Yeah, let's move on. Yeah, I'm just going to leave what I've got running for this moment. We'll see what NFP does to the market. I'm in a risk position, and I'm going to be adding to it on our main last option, I think.
Awesome. I think you're probably just going to go all in before the event anyway. Hail Mary it and see what happens, because James is cleaning up right now in this short-term basis as well. So, yeah, we have some excellent positions on here. We've got exposures in quite significantly different positions right now. So I think we're going to get sort of warm up and have a look at our next challenge as well, our final challenge today. I can prime the guests for this, so don't necessarily need to take it straight away. But our third challenge is place a trade for the next 5 days, which I think is going to be slightly awkward for James. He's a scalper, so he's probably going to go at 0.01 lots to make sure he doesn't threaten his position size on the most boring thing possible. Maybe the Australian stock market. I shouldn't have said that. Or no, the FTSE 100. The UK can take the record for the most boring stock market. Is there anything that you're seeing, James, that you think would be interesting in the next 5 days?
Okay, cool. So I'm actually gonna, if you want to be boring, and I'll take my advice. I won't take my advice from earlier. I'm gonna trade AUD USD for the next 5 days, right? It's more slower moving pair, as I mentioned, so it's more nice because it doesn't, as I said, the volatility is not there in the intraday. So I'm gonna place a trade. If you can sell, Natalie, if you can sell 3 lots to the downside on AUD USD, I will be looking for that for shorts, right? Because the Australian interest rate, they actually increased interest rates, if I'm not mistaken, for the first time in 10 years because of the inflation and that. So I like the Australian dollar weakness to the downside, and also the fact that the DXY. So if I show you my charts over here, the dollar index, as you can see, I got my indexes here. The dollar index has been on a big bull run lately. If you look on the daily time frame, it's just been ripping to the upside. So I like, as you can see, my EMA is fanning out now, and the TDI in the buy zone. So I like the Australian dollar weakness to the downside.
Excellent. That's that's a trade that you're intending to possibly hold as well. I guess for you that is a big swing trade given your usual time frames. Does weekend holding make you a little bit uncomfortable then?
Yes, I don't like holding on the weekends. As I said, I don't like the market can gap. I think this is also a good maybe a little bit of a tip as well that I can give is unless your position is locked with your stop loss and profit, I would not be holding into the weekend, because the market can gap, and sometimes the market can gap also way below your stop loss. So I'd say definitely close your trades before the weekend, as I said, because there could be a Russian missile hitting and then just causes turmoil in the markets, and that can gap you out very quickly. So definitely close your trades before the weekend. That's just my personal preference and little tip.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there is some data I've seen before that people who do hold over the weekend aren't generally as successful as people who do look for sort of short-term trades. I mean, crypto is obviously a slight exception because that market is still open over the weekend, so that might be one to look at as well. But I'm the same as you. I generally don't hold positions over the weekend, or as an alternative, I would like to sort of scale out and have very small position sizes on. So if you do get that gap that you've mentioned, it doesn't take you out of the game. Or even worse, you don't own the broker. You don't owe the broker any money, which is not the ideal situation. Yeah. Michael, have you got anything that you're interested in then now to place that you may hold over the next day, sort of Tuesday, Wednesday, depending on the time zone?
Okay. Well, when I looked at what our challenges were going to be today, and I then looked at the date, and the date today is December. May the 6th. Yeah, May the 6th. And the first thing that came to my head was May 9. Now, the vast majority of my trading and the trading that the awful lot of us will do out there is technical trading. I'm looking at these charts and I'm looking at different setups. I'm looking at double bottoms, double tops, ranges, and all sorts of different things on a technical basis for taking a trade. I don't really let fundamentals get in the way. But there's a fundamental coming along on May the 9th. That I've got no control over whatsoever. It's a fundamental that on May the 9th, Russia wants to be celebrating the end of the Second World War and running its tanks through the center of Moscow, and they want to be shouting out how great they are. So I'm really concerned about what could happen in the next few days and what sort of victory that Putin wants to have on the plate, that he can stand up in Moscow and say, how great am I? So I'm really concerned that things are going to go very much the wrong way. And I'm going to go short on the DAX now and hold it through this period. And if something happens, the markets will fall. They will fall big time. If nothing happens, they might rise a little bit, but they're not going to shoot up really high. Okay, it's going to take time for them to come back. But there's such a big fundamental here that I'm going short, and I'm going to hold that all the way through.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's not one I've thought of. So yeah, a historical reference point combined with sort of patriotism, and the current thing is sort of influencing your decision there. Yeah, and I mean that shows the value of sort of having. If you are interested in politics and economics, some people go into it more than others. I'm incredibly lazy, so I don't really pay attention to anything, which is why I'm probably not as successful as Michael. But you can get into those things as much as possible. The only thing I would say is, you learn very early in trading that sometimes good news. You expect the market to go up, it goes down, and bad news, it goes the other way around. It's that's one of the early lessons you sort of learn. But obviously, these sort of events, whether they're very unpalatable or not, are driving the markets at the moment. So it helps to have one's finger on the pulse of them, and no major news events like the non-farm payrolls that's coming out at 13:30 today. I've got no idea. I was going to ask you what you think the figure's going to be actually, but I've actually got no idea. Do you both? I know you do, Michael. Do you as well, James? Pay attention to that figure. Can have a little side bet here, can't we?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't. As I said, I'm when there's news, I'm not actually trading into news. So I do like to pay attention to it, but I'm not really like looking too much at it. I did have a look earlier today. I did see that the USD unemployment rate, they expected to be at its expected forecast at 3.5%. Whether it comes above or below, it doesn't really bother me because I'm not really trading into news, as I said.
Yeah, excellent. So I've got non-farm is projected, if these figures are right, is forecast at 390k. That's the amount of jobs that are going to be created or lost in the non. Yeah, so quite a significant number. So everyone who's watching this stream, please put in a number that you think is going to be for NFP. We used to run an NFP wine competition. I ain't sending you a bottle of wine, but anyone have a little guess as to who gets closest to what the actual figure will be. Michael, expected at 390. What's the NFP going to come in at today?
Oh, well, if you're going to win the competition, you've got to go you got to go a long way out, or you got to come in, or you got to go a long way the other way, really.
Yep.
I don't know. I think it'll be a little bit of disappointment.
So you think we're going to be below 390? Give me a number.
250.
250. Right, I'm going to hold you to that. James, give me a number.
I'm gonna go 220.
220. So he's understood you. Robin
you
says 330.
And then you would have been guaranteed.
Stop giving him tips. Robin's gone 330. I'm sure there'll be some more guests in chat. This harks back to the competition that we used to do. Okay, gentlemen, we're getting sort of towards the end of the stream. So a couple more questions. James, firstly, where can people who have been watching find you today?
Sure, they can find me on Instagram or YouTube, Instagram or Twitter, and my handle is JamesBruce131. That's where they can find me. Okay,
JamesBruce131. The trading battle. Simon is buying the winner wine. Yes, but you didn't say what level, what quality of wine. You saw what I sent you guys at. You saw what I sent you guys at 8 cap. You know you're getting the vinegar. Michael, where can the people? I wonder where the people can find you for your trading services. Where is that, please?
They can find me the same place that they can find you, Simon. They can find me at Funded Trading Plus. We offer a prop trading service for people all over the world. People who want to become professional traders, and what they want a good product that's going to enable them to be able to trade at proper capital size. So Funded Trading Plus, that's where you'll find me.
I've heard that's a brilliant prop firm.
It's pretty good.
Nice. I also just want to they can also find me. I also work closely with Austin Silver. He was actually on the previous show last week, so I also work very, very closely with him, and that is ASFX .biz. So you can find me there as well.
Fantastic. Julie says, I'm a Pinot man, Simon. Take care. I like Malbec. I'm a red wine fan. So, yes, Julian, I'll take care of that. You went 420k.
Wow.
420. If it gets on the nose at 420, email me and I promise you I'll send you a bottle of wine, wherever it is in the wine, but it has to be on the nose. So remember to email me. Right, let's get on to the important part of why this trading battle exists and all the good work that 8cap, who sponsor this, do for us. And that is, of course, the money that gets donated to charity that does make a real difference in those people's lives. So thank you. Fantastic work, 8cap there. Thank you very much. James, which charity are you trading for today, please?
Sure. So I'm trading for a charity by the name of Bloom. So my girlfriend works it's a special needs school, and my girlfriend is one of the teachers there. And they deal with, so obviously in South Africa, we've got severe poverty, being a third world country. They help kids that have cerebral palsy, autism, and they especially cater for them at that school. So that's the charity that I'll be trading for today.
That sounds a wonderful cause. Local, dealing with vulnerable people who need help. That is a fantastic cause. So the best of luck with your trends to continue down. Michael, which charity are you trading for, please?
I think that's a very good charity, James. So I'm good.
Thank you, Michael.
I'm trading for the Spinal Injuries Association in the UK. Spinal Injury Association is all about helping people get back with their lives after really a very traumatic event. When you're spinally injured, it's not just about the medical needs that you have. It's about being able to integrate back into life and lead a reasonable life. And there are thousands of people all over the world who have major problems in this area. And I have a special connection with this charity.
Lovely.
Fantastic. Two brilliant charities there, gentlemen. Can we have a quick look at the scoreboard and see where we are as we head towards the closing curtain of this stream? Some of your positions coming back on side, Michael. Your pound yen, the DAX is looking pretty good at the moment. Tesla, Elon is not happy about that. The S&P as well, slightly underwater, but things could change dramatically. James is green across the board. Fantastic work. These NASDAQ trades and the US 30 trades are working very well. So at the moment, it looks like your charity is going to be doing very, very well. You've obviously banked some profit, which is eminently sensible as well. But of course, that's just in this first hour. We know how the markets can be. We have the non-farm payrolls in an hour and 22 minutes. So that could change things dramatically. I've got a sneaking suspicion James is going to bank some more profit before then as well, which would be very sensible. I bet it. You're getting sweaty hands holding these trades for more than half an hour now. Is it sort of making you uncomfortable? Absolutely. Right, yeah. Just switching back to you then, Michael. Are there any closing notes? Any sort of top tips that that any of our traders can go away with that you think lessons that could be learned that would help them with their future trading for all our viewers?
Slow down when you go to press that button. Slow down. Reconsider. Keep a log of what you are doing the whole time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the most important sort of lesson there is a case of the market's always going to be there. There's always going to be opportunities. The Americans have got a good saying for it, and it's the market's always pitching. You just need to decide when to swing. Obviously, a baseball analogy, but it's very appropriate. When you first start trading, it's hard to get away from the screens. You feel like you're going to miss out, and you just got to take patience. The market's always going to be there. You don't need to take every trade. It's always going to be moving. You just need to take the best selective trades. Is the advice sort of Michael's essentially giving there. James, how about you? Closing.
Yeah. So so just two things. The first one is that be prepared to take singles. So if the baseball analogy, don't try and swing for home runs every single trade. Sometimes singles are all you need, because one day that single can be $5,000-$10,000 per trade, right? Compared to where you are now, it just all adds up. So especially with, as I want to mention, as all you guys were saying, with these prop firms these days, your prop firm that you're telling me about before, and the others that are out there. So there's capital. As long as you got the skill, the money will follow. Then just another one is that you always, I think as a trader, one of the big things, you got to have self-belief and persistence, because there's going to be times where you doubt yourself and you think whether you can make this as a career. So I think that's where self-belief and persistence really comes to the forefront. You got to just push through and believe in yourself and know that you can do it. If you've done it before, you can do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that resilience, being able to bounce back, isn't it? Julian says, glad I tuned into this episode. Love the show where Simon and Peter battle each other way back. Yeah, there's going to be plenty more excellent shows coming up, Julian, and for everyone. So please, everyone who's watching, do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tune in for some more trading battles. There's a great variety of guests of a huge amount of different trading experience, and you can learn from them all to help your own trading. But we're now at the end of the show, so thank you to all of those who tuned in, and wish you all the best for your trading, and have a great weekend. And from all of us, it's goodbye and take care.